He led rebellions, fought for freedom, and struck fear into the heart of an empire. But today, almost no one remembers his name. This is the erased legacy of Toussaint Louverture, the man who changed the course of history, but whose name was erased from the annals of time. What if I told you that the freedom we now take for granted in many parts of the world owes itself to a forgotten leader? That freedom at its core was once forged in the flames of resistance, led by a former slave? The story you're about to hear is not just one of a man who fought for liberty. It's the story of a battle that altered the world's balance of power, a struggle that shook the very foundations of empires. Born into slavery in 1743 on a French plantation in Haiti, then called Saint-Domingue, Toussaint Louverture's life was destined to be one of submission. The chains of slavery were all he knew. Yet even in his captivity, something extraordinary stirred within him. A spark, a will to survive, to learn, and to rise above his circumstances. Self-educated, he learned the French language and read Latin, immersing himself in the strategies of great military leaders and philosophers. He became fluent in French and absorbed ideas of liberty, equality, and fraternity ideals that were beginning to spread through revolutionary France. At the time, Saint-Domingue was a vital colony for France, rich with sugar and coffee plantations, yet built upon the backs of enslaved Africans. These workers toiled under brutal conditions, but Toussaint's ambition wasn't to simply survive or seek personal freedom. He had a vision to free an entire nation. And when the revolution began in France in 1789, Toussaint Louverture wasn't a mere spectator. He was a leader. He didn't just join the revolution, he became the revolution. Toussaint united rival rebel factions, both black and mixed race, overcoming decades of division and mistrust. Under his command, a ragtag army of enslaved people and free blacks rose up against their oppressors. Toussaint was not only a military genius, but he also had a deep understanding of the terrain and the conditions of his people. He didn't just lead battles. He crafted strategies that used the geography of the island to outsmart his enemies. He drove out the Spanish, the British, and even the French. The once mighty European forces who had controlled Haiti's wealth now found themselves outmaneuvered by a man who had risen from the ashes of slavery. In the face of superior technology, he defeated their armies with brilliant tactics, undying spirit, and a profound belief in his cause. As his reputation grew, Toussaint became a symbol of defiance. His army, once composed of poorly equipped rebels, now operated like a professional military force. He didn't just win battles, he freed people, and with each victory, his dream of a free Haiti seemed more achievable. The once powerless enslaved population now had a leader who believed in their worth. He abolished slavery on the island and instituted reforms that would lay the groundwork for a new society. Under his rule, Saint-Domingue became a place of opportunity for those who had once been bound in chains. He also made alliances with France, which was at the time in turmoil with the rise of Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon, a man known for his military genius and insatiable hunger for power, saw Toussaint as a threat and obstacle to his control over the island and his broader imperial ambitions. But Toussaint would not bow to any king, emperor, or colonizer. He had one goal: to secure freedom for his people. In 1801, Toussaint Louverture achieved what seemed impossible. He had established a quasi-independent state in Saint-Domingue. Under his rule, the island was thriving. Yet for all his triumphs, the dream was not yet fully realized. Napoleon Bonaparte, who had risen to power as the Emperor of France, had a different vision for the colonies. Napoleon, seeking to restore French power and expand his empire, decided to re-enslave the Haitian people. He sent a military force to crush the rebellion and bring Saint-Domingue back under French control. The forces of Napoleon were some of the most formidable in Europe. Yet Toussaint refused to back down. He prepared for what would be a fateful confrontation. In a cruel twist of fate, during peace negotiations, Toussaint was betrayed. He was captured by the French forces under the pretext of seeking peace. Trusting his enemies, Toussaint went to meet them and was imprisoned under the most brutal conditions. Napoleon's forces locked him in a cold, isolated cell in the French Alps, far away from his beloved island. In the freezing, unforgiving mountains, Toussaint Louverture died alone on April 7, 1803. A man who had fought for freedom, only to be betrayed by those who saw his rebellion as a threat. But even in death, Toussaint's dream lived on. His resistance ignited a spark that would burn bright for generations to come. Haiti became the first free Black republic in the world. His efforts gave birth to a nation that stood defiant against the chains of slavery and colonialism. Haiti's independence was recognized in 1804, just a year after Toussaint's death. The world may have erased his name, but his impact is undeniable. Without Toussaint Louverture, the idea of freedom for the enslaved in the Americas would not have come to fruition as quickly as it did. Haiti's revolution was not just the victory of one man, but the triumph of a people who refused to remain in bondage. His struggle and sacrifice set the stage for future revolutions across the globe. Toussaint's legacy might have been erased from the pages of history by the powers of his time, but his story cannot be forgotten. His fight for freedom, for justice, for the rights of all people to live without oppression lives on in the spirit of revolutions that followed. Subscribe to the Legacy thread where buried heroes rise again, because the greatest revolutions often begin in chains. The name Toussaint Louverture may have been erased, but his legacy endures in the hearts of all those who continue the fight for freedom and justice.